this picture one Sunday after church. This is another picture from 2010. This is when I first moved to Florida with my second ex-wife, Amanda. This was taken in Miami, Florida at Miami Inc. And at that point, I was 325 pounds. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about anything because I was just eating because I was depressed, right? I was having to live a lie forever. So I did everything I could. So you notice that this talk is called Wrestling with Gender. Well, I used to be a pro wrestler. I know, it's hard to understand, right? But that was me, running my mouth in the ring. Surprise! So I became a pro wrestler, and I worked for the Landmark Wrestling Federation, the MPW, and the WCWA, World Championship Wrestling of America. I've wrestled with and been in the ring with some of the greats as Marty Jannetty, the Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and any of you that are my age or around my age might know some of these names. Jimmy Hart, Molly Holly, all them. So these that were on the chest of the shirt that you saw in the video stood for Dirty Don DeMarco, right? I had to have a bad name, right? Because I was like a bad guy. But so I was the United States champion for WCWA and MPW. I was the tag team champion for WCWA and LWF, and the world heavyweight champion for WCWA. And I thought that this was going to help me live my life, the rest of my life, happy, right? And I mean, I pretended to be happy. This was me with one of my championship belts. I'm actually standing on a picnic table, and the person taking the picture is below me. In 1998, I came out as transgender. I lived for 2 years. And I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana. I was a waitress at Steak and Shake and Bob Evans. And I was also a drag queen. So those of you who do not know what a drag queen is, it's a female impersonator. So it gave me extra money, right? I lived for 2 years. My mom got really bad sick and was placed in the hospital. And they told her that she didn't have long to live. She had somebody call me. I went up to Kokomo, Indiana, which is about 45 minutes. And I went to her room dressed as Robin. I had changed my name, everything. She had me lean down, and she told me something in my ear. When she told me this, tears rolled down my face. I kissed her forehead, and I walked out of the room. I went to the bathroom, and I cried. I went to a bar, ordered a shot of whiskey and a Coke. I'd never drank whiskey before in my life. And at that point, I still hadn't, because I played with the whiskey and drank the Coke. I walked out of there, went to Goodwill, bought a pair of tennis shoes, a pair of jeans, and a t-shirt, a pair of scissors, and a washcloth. Went in the bathroom, washed off all the makeup, cut my hair as short as possible with scissors, did the best I could in the mirror, put on blue jeans, tennis shoes, and a t-shirt, and went back and told my mom, yes, when you pass, I will be a boy. She asked me to not be a girl. She asked me to be a boy when she died. She lived for 9 more years, thankfully. I loved her. She did live for 9 more years. So in that 9 years, I became the pro wrestler. I went in the military. I was in the Indiana Guard Reserves. I got married 4 times. I did everything I could to be the man that everybody wanted me to be. This is me with my United States Heavyweight Championship belt. This is me one time when I was at the ring in my bright green suit with my flashy glasses, making people mad at me. I did everything I could. And then, of course, this is me after I came out as this time, because I came out a year ago now. Last July 16th, on my birthday, I came out as transgender. Funny part about, not really funny, but when I look back, I laugh about the fact that I even thought about this. The day before, I drove my car, my Mustang. I had a black Mustang. I drove it to a little shopping center in Naples, Florida. And excuse me, I'm trying not to cry when I say this. And I parked and I picked up my phone that was blank and I went to Google. I was going to Google a bridge that I could easily have an accident on and drive my car into the Gulf of Mexico and drown myself because I didn't want to live as a guy anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. When I picked up my phone, it went to Google and it went to a transgender website. I didn't touch anything. The number was there. I pushed the button. The little German lady come on the phone and I said, I'm transgender and I'm going to kill myself. She says, please do not. We have a support group. Let me give you the address. Folks, the address was right across the street from where I was sitting next to a Red Lobster. Now, that is something happening there. I don't know what, but it is something. And it was because of that group that I am here today and that I have this opportunity to spread the word about trans rights and, share my story about being transgender. This is one of the only times that you'll see a really true smile on my face. And I don't remember why I was smiling, but my ex-wife and I had went to a church and got pictures taken by these people that travel around to do pictures. And that was the only time that I actually cropped out my wedding ring, just so you know. But that was the only time that I actually had a smile on my face. This is my sister Sherry. I put this in here because Sherry, I have 4 sisters older than me. Sherry was the most supportive. When I was little, I would run away at 15 years old. I had been telling everybody I was a girl all my life, and nobody wanted to believe me. Nobody cared. Sherry cared. I ran away at 15 years old, and I went to Sherry's house. And I was crying, and I said, I have something to tell you, but you can't laugh at me. And she says, okay, what is it? And I said, I'm a girl. And she's like, I believe you. And she went to her closet and pulled out the most beautiful dress in the world. Now let me explain this dress to you. This dress was polyester. This dress was probably about down to here. This dress had bright blue flowers. It had bright green flowers. It had bright orange flowers. It had bright yellow flowers. It had bright pink flowers, bright red flowers, every color you can think of, right, on a black background. It was the most beautiful dress in the world at that time. I wouldn't be caught dead in it now. But she put makeup on me for the first time, and my hair was down to about right here, and she did my hair really cute. And she turned me around and she says, now you're a girl. And I cried. The little girl in here is her daughter, Jessica. Jessica, I was there the day she was born 26 years ago. Jessica will be there the day I am reborn in 11 days. I was the first person to see Jessica because Sherry had her cesarean, and everybody else was at the coffee shop. Jessica will be there the day I'm reborn into my new body, and I become the woman that I should be in 11 days, and I'm so excited to have her there. Sherry has since passed away. She died in 2006 of congestive heart failure. This is Jessica now. This was Sherry just before she passed, but this is Jessica now. Actually, she was 13 at that time. She now has 2 children, and her little boy's birthday is today, actually. He's 7. So if you see this, Hunter, happy birthday. This is my mom. This picture was taken when she was 51 years old, and I actually have another picture that was taken of me when I was 51 years old, side by side with her. I didn't realize that the pictures were taken at the same age, but they were. So those of you who have seen me wear sundresses and stuff know I have tattoos on my legs. So that was another part of trying to be the man everybody wanted me to be. I'm a huge Kiss fan. So this is Gene Simmons from Kiss, as you saw the Kiss photos. So I have Gene Simmons on my right leg and a huge Elvis tattoo on my left leg, of course. course. This is on the front of my leg. It's just another kiss in Vegas signs. So this was me when I married my ex-wife that I'm now divorced from. I took her last name because she had a little boy that was 6 years old when I met her in 2011, and he wanted to call me Daddy, and I had a stepdad. And I thought, you know what? I can do this. I can live the rest of my life as his dad and as her husband. So this was taken on our cruise, and I was Robert Elvis Fazio at that time. This was taken on an 80s cruise. Yes, I love the 80s. We went on an 80s cruise. So this was my prom night outfit in 2016. I did everything I could to be happy. I lost weight. Everybody says I look like Drew Carey here. I don't know about that, but everybody says I do. But I did everything I could to lose weight and to be happy, and it just did not work for me. This is another picture of me after I lost weight. I think I was down to 170 at that point. So I even became a biker. Yes, I was in a bike gang. Not the bad gangs, okay? We did like charity work and stuff, but it's called the Street Crew. But yeah, so I joined a bike club and rode a Harley Davidson. And of course I put Kiss on it, you know? So this is me on my bike before it had the Kiss on it. This was taken at my home in Naples, Florida. This is me again on my bike with my leather vest. My son took this picture, my stepson. You know, people think that we don't give up anything to be who we need to be. On July the 16th, 2017, I came out as transgender to my wife. And I gave up a lot. I gave up my marriage. I gave up my home. I gave up my stepson. That was the hardest thing to give up. I gave up my wife, but the hardest thing I had to give up was my stepson. I was his dad for 7 years. We did everything together. I bought laser tag guns, and we played laser tag in and out of the house and through the backyard and had a good old time. We went fishing together with my brother. We just did everything. He rode my Mustang. He loved my Mustang. He rode on my bike, on my Harley, and I bought him a. Does anybody remember the Jesse James West Coast Chopper bicycles that look like Harley Davidsons? Okay, so I went online and bought one for $100, a used one, and fixed it up for him because he wanted one. And I put baseball cards in the spokes, right? Do you remember that? I'm aging myself. And I went to Harley and got skull handle grips, and I glued those on there for him, and he just thought he was something bad. He got him a helmet with a mohawk on it, and so he just thought that was his Harley. This was me on the 80s cruise again. I was doing Michael Jackson that night. This was me on the 80s cruise, and then me after I came out as transgender. So I did everything I could, like I said. I even played sports. So does anybody here know what pickleball is? Okay, so good. So this was me at the 2017 US Open Pickleball Championships in Naples, Florida. This was on the championship courts. There were 11 countries and 20,000 spectators, 2,000 participants. This was I think our men's double. We were one game away from winning bronze medal. I was supposed to play last year as the very first transgender female to ever play in the US Open for pickleball championships, but I ended up moving out here instead. So this is me with the big background behind me. I did everything I could. Actually, that's how I showed up at that transgender support group meeting. So look at somebody like that and think, wow, you're transgender? You know, but I was actually going to play pickleball before I was going to do the other. So yeah, it was my last game, but that's how I showed up. So this is another picture of me with my Harley. This was my my Kiss Harley. Had Destroyer on the gas tank and had Kiss on the front of it. as you can see in the little pictures. This was taken in March of 2017 and on July 18th of 2017. So within a few months of each other. From bad biker to awesome woman. This was my 50th birthday, the KISS picture. I went to Daytona Beach, Florida, and appeared on stage with KISS America, which is friends of mine that have a KISS tribute band. And that was for my birthday. It was August 6th. So it was, they were touring, so they had to wait till August 6th. So this was my 50th birthday, and that's my 51st birthday, 1 year apart. And my wife looks at me and says, "There's nothing feminine about you. But how do you do makeup so well?" Well, these are just more KISS pictures. If you haven't noticed, I'm a KISS fan. Still am. So this was me Facebooking at my breast surgery. So this was before I had the beautiful little hat. I told my friends, I said, "I will stop Facebooking now." And they're like, "No, no, no, go ahead." This was after Valium, just so you know. Don't give somebody Valium and put them on Facebook. It's not a good picture. But I woke up very happy 3 hours later that I was on my journey to becoming the complete woman that I am. This was a follow-up visit with my blue Mustang, my 2017, that I bought when I came out. This was my coming out car. I traded off my black Mustang, which is 2015, and this was my coming out car. So I was at a mall in West Palm Beach, Florida, and this was a follow-up. Story about this is, this mall is huge, right? And I didn't notice where I parked. So I'm in this mall for 3 hours. Now understand, this is a month after surgery. So I'm not really feeling the best, right? So, and I had to go from Naples, Florida, all the way to West Palm Beach, Florida, which is like three hours. And I drove by myself. So I'm in this mall and I'm looking around, I'm at Victoria's Secrets and I'm at Verizon and I'm at NYX and MAC and every place, right? So I like, where did I park? And so I had Starbucks, and I started getting like really nervous. I couldn't figure out where I parked. And so I started crying. And this security guard comes up and says, "Ma'am, can I help you?" And I'm like, "I can't find my car." And she goes, "Do you know what color it is?" "Well, of course I know what color it is. It's blue." She goes, "Okay." I said, "It's a bright blue Mustang." She goes, "Oh, I know right where that's at. It's the only one in the parking lot." So she put me in her car and she took me to my Mustang. So this was me in 2013 when I worked for Samsung. I ran a Samsung experience store inside of a Best Buy as a manager. I've been in technology for over 20 years. I now run a mobile phone store inside Target at San Leandro, and I'm also a district captain. So Walnut Creek is one of my district stores. This was me at my wedding in 2013. We got married on the beach. This was me playing around in Target in 2017. These two pictures were taken about 3 weeks apart. So this was at work, the piano tie and the hat. I wore a hat every day at work because I had this problem with my hair balding, and I hated it. So I wore a hat all the time, whether it be a fedora or a golfer's hat. I wore a hat all the time. So I was just playing around one day in Target. I don't know why I put this picture in here, but it's got a KISS shirt on, so yeah, I mean, it's KISS. And it's cute. This was me one day when I came to church, actually. I took this picture before coming to church, and everybody looked at me when I come through the doors. 3 or 4 people looked at me and says, "You look like an FBI agent." I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. So this is my best friend. This is my best friend, Dana. We went on the cruise together, one of my best friends. I have a lot of best friends. But we went on the cruise together for the 80s cruise this last year. And I met her, I had put on the 80s Cruise website that I wasn't going to be able to attend because I was moving. And then when I got out here, the tickets for the cruise had already been bought over a year ago. And I had decided that I wasn't going to attend because I couldn't afford the airfare because I just moved and I only had so much money. And if I was still in Florida, I could have drove to the cruise ship. So I talked with Michelle, and Michelle says, you should go on this cruise, you really need it. And I said, okay. So I bought the ticket. It was like $500. And she reached out to me, and she's like, so what are you doing for outfits for the 80s cruise? Because on the 80s cruise, you dress up, right? It's the 80s, right? So you have prom night, so you need a prom dress, right? You have all the different nights. You have rock and roll bands like Huey Lewis and the News, Starship, Rick Springfield, all those, right? So she sent me a beautiful dress and some earrings and all different kinds of things, like a box of stuff, right, for free. She just sent it to me. So, of course, I sent her a nice letter, and she is a wonderful, wonderful person. However, she does get a little jealous. So she was a little upset because my boobs were bigger than hers, so I deleted her. She's gone. No, really. She is my best friend. We kind of made that joke. She helped me put this PowerPoint together, actually, her and her friend. And we kind of made the joke about her boobs, my boobs being bigger than hers and her being mad, so I deleted her. This is my daughter and us together, and me together. So my daughter calls me one day and she says, I don't know what to call you anymore. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, Dad doesn't quite fit. Pops doesn't fit. Father doesn't fit. I said, well, just call me Robin. She goes, but that's not respectful. You're my parent. She goes, I know what I'll do. I'll call you Mom. Oh, my gosh. I said, look, that's your mom's title. She goes, I got this. Next thing I know, I get a phone call about 2 days later from my ex-girlfriend, Jennifer, her mother. And she says to me on the phone, she's like, look, I support you, but the mother role, the mother title is mine. And my daughter just called me and said she wants to call you Mom. And I'm thinking, oh God, I'm in trouble. And she's like, and I want you to know that I would be honored to share that title with you. And I was like crying at that point. And then in the background, I didn't realize my daughter was there. And in the background, she says, I love you, Mom. And that just melted my heart. So this last Mother's Day was my very first Mother's Day. It was so special. She called me on Mother's Day and wished me a happy Mother's Day. And I can't think of a better daughter that I would ever want than my daughter. And her mom is amazing. This is Antonio. So yes, transgender people can find love. So I am getting married on November the 18th, 2018, to Antonio Juan Balilis in Las Vegas, Nevada. My maid of honor is a trans female. His best man is a trans man. They are a couple, and they live in Las Vegas. Catherine and Blake, or James Blake. And I'm very honored to have them in my wedding. We are going to have a transgender wedding. Well, our colors will be pink, blue, and white, although he will not wear a pink bow tie and vest. He wants to wear champagne, but okay, whatever. I'm still going to have my white wedding dress, just so you know. He's meeting me at surgery. He asked me to marry him about 5 months ago. He's meeting me at my surgery. He will be there when I go into surgery. He'll be there when I come out. And he's going to stay for the recovery. And he's going to officially propose and present me with my engagement ring. So that's why I'm not wearing one right now. I keep telling him my finger is naked, but he doesn't care. It's like, just send it to me in the mail. no, that's not happening, he says. So he's an amazing man, and I love him 100%. He has he has a set of triplets, grandsons, that are 21, and he has a set of twins, grandsons, that are 13. His two daughters are U.S. Marshals. So Antonio, and I have his permission to tell this, Antonio was born intersexed. So those of you who do not know, that means you're born with both genitalia. He was raised all of his life as a girl. He finally decided that it was time to be his true self. And 6 months ago, he went in for surgery to have the vagina sewn shut and everything else hooked up the right way. And he just got his name changed on Friday to Antonio Juan Balilis. It was Antonia. And I called him and I said, then change your voicemail. I'm tired of hearing Tanya. And we are moving to Jacksonville, Florida in October. So actually, we're leaving in September, but October is when we're going to get there. So I'm writing a couple books. I told my niece, I said, she's an artist, and I said, I want you to do the cover of one of my books. And I said, what I want is I want a picture of a boy's head. I want a window with light coming through with bars on it, and a little girl sitting there. Sad. I sent her pictures of me. She took the facial features from that picture, those pictures, and put it in the pictures of the face of this little girl. So in all intents and purposes, that is me sitting there. When you're transgender, it's like being trapped in a prison all your life. I was trapped in that prison for 51 years. And I finally found the key to get out on July 16th, 2017. So she drew this. This will be the cover of my third book. I haven't got a title for it yet, but this will be the cover of the third book. I'm very proud that she was able to draw this. So this is my contact information. This also has my YouTube channel on it. Those of you who do YouTube, feel free to look me up on YouTube. It's Robin Reeder, Queen Bee. Yes, I am a queen. I don't know why I came up with that. I do, actually. There's a song by the Lords called Royals, and in it talks about Queen Bee. So it's on the front of my car, too. So it's just been my thing. 12 days ago, I set out on a mission. I had 52 subscribers on my YouTube channel. In 14 days, I wanted to hit 100 subscribers. I am 2 days away, and this morning I hit my 82nd subscriber. So in 12 days, I gained 30 subscribers. I have 2 more days to get the other 18. So I think we'll do it. I'm excited. So at this point, I am going to stop and ask if anybody has any questions. Anything is open for discussion. I'm an open book. So, are you looking for this? Kind of thought you were. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to raise your hand and I will answer your questions.
And just before we do that, let's just take a moment of gratitude for Robin.
Thank you. I will tell you, I was a little nervous. I gave this same presentation, I changed it a little bit, in New York City at Columbia University for nursing students. By the way, I was invited back next year to do it again. But I was nervous about this one because I know a lot of you. I didn't know anybody there except for the doctor, that was it. So you guys have made me feel like really welcome and really at home in this church. And I'm very proud to say that I came here. I have my name tag finally, yay! Which, as I'm leaving, but I will keep it forever because it was part of me. So thank you. I applaud you. So any questions?
Well, I'm sad to see you go. I was just wondering, well, you said I could ask anything. So how are you getting your surgery paid for?
Good question. So when I lived in Florida, I set my surgery to be done at Miami University Hospital by Dr. Sagato. He was on I Am Jazz. I didn't know that until after I'd already. I worked at a company there that they paid for our health care. So I didn't pay anything out of my check. And my deductible was going to be $300 to have a $35,000 surgery. However, I was let go because I complained of harassment. Shortly after that, I got, when I came out as lesbian also. And I had a girlfriend. And shortly after that, she kicked me to the curb because I wanted to have the surgery and she didn't want me to. So I came out here and I didn't know how I was going to get it paid for. I really didn't. And Michelle says, we're going to figure this out. She got me on the phone with Blue Shield of California. I made sure that they would cover my gender reassignment surgery. She got me on the phone with my doctor and made sure that they would take Blue Shield of California. And so I elected to go with Blue Shield of California. So I have a deductible I have to pay. It's quite a bit higher than $300, but it's all right because I have it. And so that's what's exciting. I will say I'm nervous and I'm scared, but I'm excited, right? I will leave here next Monday, a week from tomorrow, on a plane and go to Miami. I will be speaking at a high school in Fort Myers, Florida, either the 28th or 29th, to the student body and their parents about being transgender. I'm going to give the same presentation. Then on the 29th, I will go over and check into a hotel. And the morning of the 30th, I will go in for surgery. And at 4 o'clock East Coast time, which is 1 o'clock here, I will be in recovery. And I say 8:30 in the morning, but it's like 5:30 in the morning for you guys. Here. It's about a 6 or 7 hour surgery. But that's how I got it paid for. So I was kind of blessed, and I hate to say this, but I didn't really know where I was going to come up with the deductible. And I was leaving Alameda at work one day because I was in the Alameda Target, and a guy sideswiped me and did $15,000 worth of damage to my car. And so they fixed my car, and they gave me some money, and that money is going to help me become me. So I guess it's a blessing that I had the accident and that I wasn't hurt, thank God. But, it's, at least I have the money that I need now. And I hate to say it that way, but, sometimes things happen for a reason. Just like me being out here happened for a reason. Anybody else?
So I have 2 questions. One is, what would you say has been the best surprise since coming out and your surgeries and becoming the woman that you are now? My other question is, what would you say, and I know there are many, many things, but what would you say is important for us to know in terms of being a welcoming community for transgender friends, members, people coming into this church?
So let me take your second question first. What would I say is one of the most important things, right? And I'm going to take a little thing from the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, and it's respect. RESPCT. Just respect us. Respect us. We're here to be part of you, right? We're here to be part of your community. Just show us dignity and respect. We're no different than anybody else in this here. We just are born different, right? That's the only difference between you and I. You were born a cisgender female. I was born a trans female. I didn't have the opportunity to be me for 51 years. So just respect us. and just love us. And I will say that this is the most amazing church I've ever been to, and the most loving. The one picture that I showed up there, this goes along with what you said. One picture I showed up there with me in a suit and tie. I had a pink tie on, black suit. So something I did not mention is I was studying to be a minister. And I would preach from the pulpit once a month, and I belonged to a Church of God. And I preached hellfire and brimstone. And when they found out I was trans, that was in my past, they kicked me out of the church. When this church found out I was trans, they welcomed me with open arms. So that's the difference. It's called respect. They didn't respect me. This church respects me. That's what makes me love this church so much. And I'm going to be sorry to go. And then your first question, what was my biggest surprise? I guess my biggest surprise, other than, so I have a couple of them. One is the amount of friends and family that I did not lose. So I lost a sister over this. My sister actually, and my brother and his wife, they were actually at my house on July the 4th of 2017. My sister went home. On July 11th, I called her and told her, I said, Chrissy, I need to tell you something. She goes, okay. And I said, you remember my past? And she goes, stop right there. I said, what? She says, don't do it. Don't F up your life. Only she used the word. And I said, I have to be me. She goes, then what you need to do is go downstairs in your car, in the garage, turn on the music, and go to sleep. And I said, you just told me to kill myself. And she goes, yes, because we don't need any more freaks in this world. My brother, I sent him an email. He says, I don't want to know you like this. I don't want you in my life. I hate you. Those two people have been written out of my life, and his wife also, because she was the same way. But the amount of friends that I got and kept, when I came out, I had about 75 people on my Facebook page. I have almost 600 now in a year. I thought I would lose a lot of my motorcycle friends, my Mustang Club friends. I didn't. I belonged to a Mustang Club called Naples, Pioneer Club of Naples. And, you know, I emailed the president and I said, you know, I came out as transgender and I'd still like to be part of the club. And he goes, what's that mean? And so I called him and I told him, he goes, we're a Mustang Club. We could care less what your gender is. He says, girls drive Mustangs. Of course we do, right? Blue ones, and we're going to put pink on them. No. So I went to the first meeting as a female that I had ever been to. And nobody knew who I was. And so I stood up and I spoke, and I said, most of you know me. I've been at this club meeting before, and everybody's looking at me like, wow. And I said, I used to own the black Mustang with Knight Rider on the front with all the red and the lights. And they're like, wow. I said, I would love to continue as a member of your club. And they said, absolutely. You know, and I got so many hugs and everything. So it was amazing. My pickleball family, they're still there. Everybody is still there. That's what's surprising. The other surprising thing was the fact that, and I'll say this again, I met the most amazing woman when I come to California, Michelle Paquette. I can't imagine having any better friend than Michelle. She is just so amazing, and she texted me this morning and told me that I would do great, and good luck. You know, she's on a road trip, and thankfully, because my hormones have been like crazy because I've been off hormones for surgery. But that's the other surprising thing. I said there's a couple, is Michelle Paquette. She's amazing. And she didn't know me from anybody. She went on what friends of ours from a support group that I belong to on Facebook said about me and told her about me. And she welcomed me into her home. So again, I thank her for that. She's amazing. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Maybe one or two more questions that people have.
If
Anybody
no one
else?
has anything, I would like to actually ask a question, and that is that I know that the community has worked, is really, has been welcoming, and I'm really glad to hear that. And I also know from talking to other members in our community that even with good intentions, we have things happen that are microaggressions, that are awkward, that are debilitating, that feel disrespectful. And I'm wondering what your advice would be for someone who might find themselves unintentionally creating a microaggression, maybe misgendering someone or doing something that they didn't want to do, but they did. What would be your advice for them?
Misgendering. So, wow. So misgendering can cause a lot of issues for somebody. The only time I've ever really, that I've been misgendered is on the phone, because I don't really care about my voice much. I don't really talk with a really deep voice anyway. But on the phone, it's hard to tell my voice. And when I get misgendered on the phone, a lot of times they'll say, can I help you, sir? And I'm like, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a man. Oh, I'm a woman. And they're like, oh, I'm not a man, okay. So it's just that kind of thing. But to answer your question, right, if you misgender somebody, don't make a big deal of it, right? Don't say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, oh gosh. Just calmly correct yourself, right? And move on, right? Because we don't necessarily want attention. Like, we're not here to get attention. When I walk into a restaurant, I don't walk in and say, I'm transgender, just so everybody knows. I just want you to know that, so I'm gonna be going to the bathroom in 20 minutes. If you don't want to see anything, stay. Sorry. I don't do that, okay? But we don't want attention. We're not here to get attention. We're here to live our lives. So don't make a big deal out of it. Just, calmly correct yourself. And then if you feel bad about it later, you can go up to the person and say, look, I'm sorry I did that. I just want to apologize and make it known that I am so sorry. And that'll go a long way. But even just not making a big deal about it goes phenomenally long. We as individuals and people enjoy our privacy, okay? We enjoy our privacy. I'm not a very shy person, as you can tell. I am 100% out at work. Everybody at work knows I'm transgender, and I don't really care, right? But I still don't go and announce it to just anybody, right? But I'm not ashamed of who I am. And there are going to be some individuals that don't want to be outed, right? Don't ever walk up, and this is something that goes along with that, don't ever walk up to somebody and say, oh, yeah, you're transgender, because maybe they're living stealth. Maybe they don't want to be noticed. They're not like me. They're not like out there telling everybody, right? But just like I said, just apologize when you can, and just, correct yourself and move on. That would be what I'd say.
Thank you, Robin. Any other questions? If not, let's please. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Troy.
First of all, Robin, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Secondly, I am the dad of a gender non-binary child who may transition at some point in the future. What is the one thing that you had wished that your parents had provided you with in terms of support for going through this?
Wow. So like I said, I came out in '98 for the first time. Two things. One is I wish that my parents had believed me when I was younger. I wish I would have had the support because I missed my teenage years. Michelle will tell you that I'm reliving my teenage years. My bedroom kind of looks like a teenage girl's. I got a chair piled with clothes, and but I just, be loving and be supportive of them. I wish my parents had done that for me when I said, all these years I was a girl, because I started saying I was a girl when I was 5 years old. I played with girls' dolls. I played with neighbor girls' dolls. My sisters were given away when I was a year old, so I didn't grow up with my sisters. But I kept saying, I'm a girl, and nobody wanted to believe me, right? And so I had to live the life of a boy. I was forced to live as a boy. And so just be supportive. Just give them the support that they need. And if they decide to transition, then great. If they don't, I still love them, right? And then the other thing is, I love my mom. I love my mom. And unfortunately, she has passed away in 2009. But I wish she had never asked me to do what I had to do. I did that. I sacrificed me once again for my mother. And I wish she had never asked me. That was the hardest thing I could have heard out of my mom. But I did it because I loved my mom. Don't ever make your child choose between being them and loving you. Because that's the worst thing we can have to choose. It really is. And does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Robin, you have shared so much wisdom with us. We are deeply grateful. You have all of our blessings as you go forward, though we're not happy that you're leaving us. You will have to come back and visit.
Just keep me in your thoughts on the 30th.
We will. We definitely will. 5:30 in our time on the 30th.
5:30 your time.
We'll be sending you energy
8:30.
and good thoughts and prayers.
I have one more Sunday. Next Sunday will be my last Sunday here. Because I don't know how much I'll be getting out after surgery before I leave. So I have been really honored and blessed to be part of this congregation. And the whole balloon thing was cool. Although Peggy wanted to keep a blue and pink one.
And if you come 3 weeks from now, they'll be hitting us on the head.
They'll probably be hitting you next week.
Next week.
But again, I couldn't have been any more blessed by anybody. Oh, God. I don't want to bottle them. I have to take a picture. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I did all this without crying. Thank you.